Do you think officials are going to get answers to their questions?
Well, look, everyone is hoping so, and it's not just Democrats. There are Republican lawmakers who might not be coming out against the administration, but they are still looking for any kind of answer to the question of what does the U.S. involvement in Venezuela look like moving forward. Right now, we are just getting bits and pieces from various U.S. officials as well as from members of the administration. We heard Secretary of State Marco Rubio paint this as a broad picture of the U.S. trying to dictate policy. Yesterday, you heard the Deputy Chief of Staff, Stephen Miller, who has been alongside Rubio, one of the chief architects of this Venezuela plan, talking about how essentially this was a threat situation where they were going to use the military off the coast of Venezuela to continue to threaten Venezuela in order to get them to do what America wants. But that does not answer the question of, one, what exactly are the demands that America is making? Are they only related to oil at this time? We've been speaking to a number of experts who say there's going to have to be serious infrastructure rebuilding within Venezuela to actually even access the kind of oil that President Trump has been talking about, or are there other demands as well? The other question that no one is answering: when are there going to be, or are there going to be, elections held? Is there ever going to be a pivot to democracy? These are things that not only Venezuelans want to know, but also United States citizens want to know. Are we getting into a war with Venezuela? And if you hear from Stephen Miller and President Trump, they say no, we're not, but they're also saying that we, the United States, are in control of this country without giving the specifics of what U.S. control of Venezuela actually looks like.
And Kristen, there is new reporting on the actual raid that captured Maduro and his wife. Sources say that Trump officials are telling lawmakers that he sustained some injuries, as well as his wife, Celia Flores. They're basically describing a very chaotic scenario, but one in which U.S. forces didn't directly cause those injuries, right?
Yeah, essentially what they're saying is that the Maduro'S, or Maduro and his wife Celia Flores, as you said, hit their head while they were trying to flee U.S. forces, that the injuries weren't caused by this operation themselves, but by the forces being there and the Maduro Flores trying to escape. We saw them in court, or we saw the sketches of them in court, and we heard them in court. They had visible injuries. We know that Flores' lawyer had essentially said that she sustained severe injuries, that she wanted to be brought in for another medical analysis. So it's not that surprising, but of course here they're trying to lay out that this was not the fault of the actual people on the ground, but instead of those trying to flee law enforcement.
Kristen Holmes of the White House, thank you so much for that update. Brianna?
So what does Congress have to say about all of this? CNN's Manu Raju is on the Hill. Manu, what are lawmakers saying? Are they getting the answers that they want from the Trump administration?